Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. On this channel, I'll dissect an article that I've read and I will share to you the issue that was raised in the article, the author's arguments, my beliefs, values, status, as well as my argument. Before I move on any further, allow me to introduce myself. My name is Sharifah Hani Zafirah Alsagoff binti Syed Omar, but you can just call me Hani for short because that's what all my friends and family call me. I'm a 22-year-old biomedical science student studying at University Putra Malaysia. So in today's video, I will critically analyze an article that was assigned to me, which is article number 1. And this article is entitled The Guardian View on Shrinking Break, The Right to Relax editorial. But before delving into the issue that I found in this article, let me first talk to you about the author of this article. Now, I have some good and bad news. Let's begin with bad news. So the bad news is sadly I failed to find out who was the exact individual that wrote this article. But fret not, here comes the good news. So the good news is that based on the title of the article itself, we know that this is an editorial piece. So what does that mean? That means that an editor at The Guardian wrote this article. But you may be wondering, what is The Guardian? Now, if you've never heard of The Guardian, let me introduce The Guardian to you. So The Guardian is an independent and high-impact news company that is owned by the Guardian Media Group. And what I find very interesting about this news company is their source of finance. So their source of finance actually comes from people like you and me, readers. So this means that they are a reader-funded news company. This means that the readers will actually help to fund and act as a source of capital for this Guardian news company so that they can keep operating and will produce articles towards the audience. And what's even more interesting is that in 2020, 1.5 million readers have supported The Guardian. This means that a lot of people find Guardian a trustworthy news site, and I feel very secured reading the article knowing that the opinions produced were of high quality. So if you want to know what The Guardian writes about, they write about a different variety of topics ranging from politics, sports, business, lifestyle, culture, and even many more. So I highly suggest you to go to www.theguardian.com if you want to read their news, or you can also read it through a subscription. Now, we've known a bit about The Guardian. Let us then move on to this video and the contents of the video. So the issue in the article is that the author criticizes break time that is diminishing in schools, and the author vilifies the short break time. Here, the author constantly tells us that reducing break time is an issue to students and children, and the author goes on to reinforce this point as short break time hampers students to socialize with one another. Secondly, the argument that was brought up by the author is that the author wants students to have a longer break time as it is a fundamental right to uphold. Building on from the idea that the break time should be longer, the author then stresses that the news that break times have continued to diminish 2 decades after researchers flagged it up is awful. This is also supported by evidence that was shown by the author in this article, which were a quarter of English secondary schools now give pupils 35 minutes or less to eat their lunch, while afternoon breaks are close to extinction. The second statistical evidence that was brought up in the article is that overall, primary children aged 5 to 7 have lost 45 minutes of their playtime since 1995, while 11 to 16-year-olds have lost over an hour. And at that same time, children report having less opportunity to socialize with friends outside of school. I believe that the author was clever to point this out as it is an alarming issue, since from this article, we now know that short break times have been going on for almost 20 years, and students have not had the time to socialize with their friends because of this short break time. Another line of thought is that the author continues to stress that people of all ages needs a chance to rest, and we should encourage children to grow up regarding this as their right. And here we see that the author is advocating that relaxing time is needed and it is necessary, and it is important for children that to know that it is their right to relax and it is their right to take a break. Therefore, this awareness for children must start from an early age, and it should start at schools, where it's a ground where children go to learn new things and where they learn important values in life. Therefore, we must teach children that it's important for them to regard this as their right. Next, I'll examine my own values, beliefs, and status regarding this argument. In my humble opinion, I strongly believe that firstly, school should be a ground that encourages and nourishes both a student's academic and non-academic potential, and both of these aspects should be allowed to coexist. Secondly, I believe that break time should be an allocated time for students to relax. In this sense, this should be a time where students should not be rushing. They should be able to do things at their own pace with enough time. Thirdly, I believe that building a community is important, especially during a student's formative years, the years where they are growing up and meeting new people. And fourthly, I believe that teachers and the school administration as a whole has a responsibility to take care of these students and ensure that they are in a good state both mentally and physically. I will also further extend this belief by saying that the Education Ministry has the greatest responsibility of them all, as they are the stakeholder that can cater and that can create new policies that can cater towards issues in schools like short break times. Some of the values that I hold on to are, firstly, students deserve to rest. They are humans just like me and you, and they need to rest as well. Second, the value that I hold on to is balance. What do I mean by this? I mean that there should be a balance between education and health. And health is related to the break time that students get in schools. And the third value that I hold on to is security. Security in a sense where students should be able to feel secure at their educational institution, in a sense where they don't believe that they will be punished at school, in the sense where they have a short break time, but they go to school knowing that it is a safe place for them to become holistic individuals and for them to grow as better students as a whole. So what status am I going to present to you? The status that I believe is that break time can be utilized as a weapon of nurture for all students, especially lower class students. Why am I highlighting lower class students? Let us first analyze the reality of a lower class student. So lower class students are usually students who are struggling financially, and most of the time after school they will go and help their parents run a business or help them to find more source of income to pay their expensive school tuition fees. Because school tuition fees are very expensive, money is a big deal for these students as well as their parents, which is why these students and parents, these lower class students and parents, they regard time as money. Therefore, when you have a short break time, in a sense you are robbing these students out of the opportunities that they can have to rest before they have to go out after school and help their parents to find money to help support their household and especially to support their education. This demonstrates that my beliefs, values, and status have reinforced the author's views, and based on those beliefs, values, and status that I've previously mentioned, it is crystal clear that I agree with the opinion of the author. Now, I would like to conclude that I believe that a short break time is detrimental to students as it affects both their academic and non-academic fraction of their lives, because a shorter break time means that there is less time to socialize. To build on from the idea of a short break time, it means that short break time gives students less time to eat. What happens when students don't get to eat? This means that their body and brain will not get the nutrient they need, and this will affect the health of the students, which will then affect the academics. And personally, I've went through this experience where when I didn't eat, I noticed that my performance in class was dropping as I was getting way more sleepy than I usually was. I was getting easily distracted and I just could not focus at class at all. So when having longer breaks, you give students more time to eat, and not just eating like food generally. Most of the time, parents nowadays pet their students, pet their sons and daughters, pet their children healthy food. So now during a longer break time, you'll be able to eat healthy food and have a better brain performance and improve their productivity in class because of the brain and gut connection that exists within the body. This also means that students can now rest and relax as their mind or their brain is not focusing on studies at that point of time. So when the brain rests, the body gets to rest as well. Another line of thought is that short break time robs the chance to make friends. What do I mean by this? I mean that when there is less break time, students will rush to eat and do things that they need to get done before they're able to socialize with other people. And personally, break time was the only time for me in school where I get to talk to friends from other classes. And this was such an amazing experience for me because when I was able to socialize with my friends, I was able to grow my circle of friends, and these are the same friends that I still talk to nowadays that I'm older, and I'm so grateful that I had them during my school years because it definitely made my education experience better because I felt like I was never alone. So when we give students a longer break time, they can find more friends by simply engaging in conversation, by talking with them and finding out that maybe they have a similar interest. And this is great for students because now you allow them to socialize, and I like to call this as a soft form of networking, if you may. But most importantly, we get students to understand that they are also not alone in their experience because friends are the people that you can rely on and you can confide in. Therefore, the evidence that I've presented in this vlog has revealed the reality of break time in schools and has also stressed on the effect of a shorter break time, which supports that there should be a right to relax. I also argued that having a longer break time allows students to relax, and it is a way to honor the word break itself and what the word means. Now, sadly, I believe it seems that we have reached the end of today's vlog. I hope that to those who have been watching all this time that you have now understood the magnitude of the issue, which is shorter break times in schools, and how because of this short break time students just do not get to relax and they don't understand that it is a right to relax in itself. Secondly, I hope that this article review will open up more discourse pertaining this issue so that change can be made, as change requires effort from multiple parties, especially the education ministry, and hopefully in the nearest future a new policy can be introduced where shorter break times in school will be banned. Lastly, before I end today's video, I would like to thank you so much for spending your time and lending an ear to listen to me talk about this article. I've inserted a link to the article in the description box below. So right after this video ends, you can click on the link in the description box, which will direct you to the article and read and analyze it yourself as a critical reader. Do not forget to like this video if you liked it, comment your thoughts on this issue, and subscribe to my channel and turn on the channel notification so you won't miss any future uploads from me. Thank you for your attention. I truly appreciate it, and bye. Maybe meet in another video soon. Thank you.